Art Fight 2025 is now officially over, and that means you can now sit down, relax, and enjoy the art that people have gifted you or threw through your window in a joyful act of revenge. But instead of relaxing with all of the cool art I received this year, I instead am making a video about Art Fight 2025 for one particular reason. Years prior, whenever I would participate in Art Fight, I always just let my heart's desire run rampant, making whatever kinds of attacks come to mind. If someone attacked me first, I would go out of my way to try and make them something as equal or with more effort than what they gave me. You know, such as if somebody gave me a sketch of my character, I'd give them like a full color drawing. I don't base like effort off of like skill level. For this year, for the most part, I did the same thing, but I wanted to try something different. I wanted to take a moment to focus on working on one of my skills, finding and improving an aspect of my style that I never felt like I could quite reach, at least in the way that I wanted to. In this art fight, not only did I have the time to practice that, but I finally am feeling like I am heading into an artistic direction with what I want to work on when it comes to my skills, in a way that I actually feel happy about. What is this thing I wanted to work on? Drawing chibis. That's it. Mainly because I want to make stickers in the future. I love those chibi full-body stickers people make with characters, and I've always wanted to do that so badly. I tried something like that before when I made Fallout stickers to sell at a convention, but I know I could get closer to what I want to achieve. By the way, I have an Etsy store with some of my leftover stuff from that, so if you ever wanted to get some art from me, I got charms and things, yay! I was going to spend Art Fight mostly drawing chibis of characters and see what I could do to make chibi art that not only is visually appealing, but gets the look that I wanted. I also wanted to try a few new techniques, and so I'll be talking about that in the course of this video. And at the end I'll be having a showcase of all the art I got this year, while also talking about my experience with this year's Art Fight. Everyone will be credited by their Art Fight in the video, but if you wish to follow these awesome artists on Art Fight or other socials, then I will be linking them in the description as well. Speaking of art, the art for this video is going to be time-lapses I did of all the chibi attacks I did this year. I got into the habit of hitting the time-lapse button when drawing an attack, and so I have plenty to share for this video and all the upcoming ones. I hope you enjoy! Let's get started. One of my biggest issues with doing chibis is the proportions. Chibi proportions are not realistic to actual real-life proportions, but they are still designed to look good despite the bigger head size. I definitely had an issue with trying to go for a more realistic proportion with sketching some of these, and often had to resize body parts during certain stages of drawing because I would mess them up. A couple of times I only noticed after I got to the line art stage of a drawing, but thank God for vector tools because they make resizing things less of a nightmare. I found what would help me out best is if I stuck on a pose or wasn't getting the body features the size I wanted it to be, was if I went and I drew a tinier undersketch of the pose I wanted, fixed that up, then resized it to be bigger for the final sketch. You can see me do that in some of these drawings, and it really helped a lot. It's what I do in my sketches sometimes if I'm having trouble with a drawing and need to do a thumbnail first. I'll just draw what I have in mind really small, touch it up, and then expand the size and sketch over it, and usually the problem is immediately fixed afterwards. A win for me. I also wanted to do more with underlighting and went a little bit overboard this year. Basically, I take a bright color, usually a cyan or a purple, and I would add color around the parts where the shadows would be darkest or where there would be a light reflection. Then I would lower the opacity to a really low, opacity, obviously. I wanted to play with this technique more, as I love how it looks on other people's art, and I wanted to have fun with the chibis, using that as a way to practice with it as well. I also, for this one chibi I made for Wee Wee Piss on Art Fight, I added a darker outline around the shadows, like I've seen in other art. It didn't come out too bad, but in the end I did end up not doing a lot for any pieces after that one, mostly because I just kept forgetting to. Overall, I did 54 attacks, a majority of them chibis with a few non-chibi attacks thrown in here and there, and this was a really fun learning exercise. I had so much fun practicing, working on putting little details from complicated characters onto such tiny drawings, and had a grand old time using my Art Fight time to learn how to draw in a new way. I hope to make more chibi art in the future because I want to make some stickers someday, but for now, have all these little guys I made in 1 month. Yay! I know this is a much shorter video than usual, but I'm not quite ending it yet because I want to include one last section. Although I've been drawing people things all of Art Fight, people have been attacking me with art too, so while I have their art here on screen, I want to take a moment to talk about Art Fight this year in general and how my experience felt this year compared to previous years. Overall, I think the air for this Art Fight was really weird, if I'm being honest. In previous years it felt crowded, lots of people were participating throughout the month, and even if I wasn't being attacked a bunch, it still felt like there were a lot of people participating. But I personally got a lot of attacks done compared to my previous years. The least number of attacks I did in this year was less than 30, and I usually get about 30 to 50 done a year. So I know my output has been the same, but I don't know, I feel like in a way it almost feels like the interaction has been less. I saw other people have the same sentiment, and some people were chalking it up due to either people giving up because people were not attacking them back as much as they hoped they would, or because they got burnt out and quit within the first few weeks. Or like they didn't comment on people's art, which is understandable. As someone who takes time out of their schedule to make art for Art Fight is a marathon, not a race. But for someone new or who doesn't participate often, I can see why people may have bitten off more than they could chew. I want to do a bigger Art Fight video next year, mainly as a newcomer's guide video. For next one will be my 10th year, and I want to make it so new people who are coming into the game as beginners can have an easier time navigating, especially because most young people are hearing about the event from the TikTok art community. And honestly, TikTok art community has a really skewed idea for what Art Fight is about. To be honest, like, it's so bizarre to me. There usually is discourse every Art Fight. Like, one of the ones was this video on YouTube that came out about, like, Art Fight artists being misogynist because of having a lack of, like, written in-depth female OCs, which I have a whole opinion about that, which I think I could quickly say in this video, which is, like, I think that video did make some good points. However, I don't think those points were good for Art Fight because Art Fight is very limited on the number of images you can have. It's very limited on like a lot of other stuff, how many characters you can have, for example, and it doesn't take into account how many, like, which characters people will draw. Like, most of the characters that I get drawn most years are usually my female characters. This year was like one of the like very rare exceptions where like more of my like male or masculine presenting characters were drawn over my like female characters, but most other years I've had more of my female characters drawn, and people will tend to hide characters if one character is being attacked way too much. So like, I don't think Art Fight is a good example for that study. A great place to do that kind of study would be someplace like Unveil or Toy House. If anything, they were talking about how they disqualified racist designs in that video. I personally think Art Fight would have been a really great place to like do a study about racism in Art Fight, because that is an issue, but that is not an issue we're going to be talking about in depth for this video. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in because that was a big discourse. And like, there's usually the other discourse in Art Fight every year, and the discourse this year was weird. One thing I kept seeing was like people constantly rating attacks they got, which like, okay, I get having your favorite attack or attacks you received, and I'm guilty of this. I have my favorite pieces I get every year, even if I'm not public about which ones, because I love all of the art I get. I cherish it. But I would never go on TikTok, post the art I got from a newer artist or a beginner artist or somebody who skill level may not be on par to my taste, and tear into it. There seems to be this big dislike for new artists to the point where people have had in their bios that they do not want beginner artists attacking them, which feels so entitled to me. Like, I don't care if you can only draw stick figures and blobs. If you draw my OC, I'm gonna cherish the art forever. I don't get why people have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, but if you're like a new artist, like, I don't want your art. You don't draw my characters. It's like, what? Why? You are literally disregarding free art on the free art month. Like, hello? That and the base thing with using your own 3D models as a reference, like, that's perfectly normal and fine, guys. I just don't want to, like, I was there at the prime of references are cheating, and if you use a reference, you are cheating. Like, no, guys. That's not... There's a difference between referencing and tracing, and if you're using your own 3D models, that's fine. It's not like going on DeviantArt and finding, like, sad anime girl base and drawing all over that. Like, there's a difference. But in, like, regards to my own little corner of Art Fight this year, it's been fun. I drew characters from artists I like that I've been dying to draw for a while, just mostly because I didn't have the time and motivation, and I'm like, oh, it's Art Fight, and I'm motivated to draw for Art Fight, and there's these characters on Art Fight who I've been wanting to draw. I'm gonna draw them for Art Fight. And I got to attack a bunch of other really cool characters I found this year. As for my characters who did get attacked, well, I uploaded a bunch of new characters, mostly the ones that I made or reworked for Ashindo, but I did not have the results I kind of was expecting when I uploaded those. My top picks for characters that I wanted art of for the most this year was Micah Cass, which of course, because they're my specialist little guy, I always want art of them every year. Denver Lowe, who I gave a whole new story to, though you still could draw them with Magnus Archive stuff if you wanted. Artie/Moriarty Cord, Denver's boyfriend turned hive mind situationship that is so complicated. And then the 3 kids, Casper, Seer, and Ping. I assumed that the most popular character was going to be Seer because her design is very cute, and people have a tendency to go for the cute designs of my characters in previous years. Or for like Nunzia, who's my JoJo Bizarre Adventure character who is also new to Art Fight. I made her like back in March, and she is also shipped with my girlfriend's character, so like there's a ton of like opportunity for that to be done. But it wasn't either of them. Instead, my most popular character was tied between Micah, which I am happy about because they are my favoriteest guy. Thank you all so much. Alkai, my pretty pop star who I'm playing as for a game of City of Mist, my friend Claire is running. He is the Golden Fleece in our game because all the mythos in our setting is based off of Greek mythology. And the one that I was most surprised about, which is Ping, the creature, my baby boy, who I was wondering if all the art he was going to get was just going to be of him, Seer, and Casper because they're a trio, do not separate. But no, he got like so much love this year, even though everybody kept getting his height wrong. Granted, that's all my fault because I did not have like a height chart for him, so I couldn't like tell you guys how tall he is. Ping is teeny tiny. He is a teeny tiny little guy. Have him, Seer, and Casper stand next to each other. He goes like up to maybe Casper's shoulder. Like he is super teeny tiny. Overall, here like basically the stats for this year. Ping, Micah, and Alkai with 6 attacks each. Seer with 5 attacks. Denver with 4 attacks. Ek with 3 attacks. Moriarty, Casper, and Cecilia, and Ingrid with 2 attacks each. And Pacific, Jules, Tina, my persona, Joel, Horace, Tal, and Nunzia all with 1 attack each. People just love pretty non-binary people and weird little guys, but congrats to this weird trio, I guess. You all got some great art. Surprising results to me, considering I gave you all tragic mushroom yaoi, but that's neither here nor there. But that's the end of the video. If you want to follow me on Art Fight for next year, I'll link my page down below. If you like my characters and want to stick around, consider subscribing. I do art and animations and will scream about my characters in many, many videos. I also have a webcomic. In Harmony is free to read on inharmony.the-comic.org. Go check it out. If you want to help support me, then consider either commissioning me on VGen or subscribing to my Patreon. Money I make there helps keeps the lights on and you get some bonus stuff as well. Thanks for watching and I'll talk to you all later. Bye!